And joining me on the line is the National Republican frontrunner, Donald Trump. Good morning, sir.
Hi, Charlie.
How are you?
I'm good.
By the way,
I look forward. I'll be spending a week with you folks, so I look forward to that.
First of all, congratulations, Grandpa. Congratulations on the birth of your grandson yesterday.
That's right. Thank you. That's so nice. Ivanka's a special person, and they had a beautiful baby. So that was on Easter, so it was an Easter baby, and that's great.
Well, welcome to Wisconsin, and I know that you realize that here in Wisconsin we value things like civility, decency, and actual conservative principles. So let's possibly make some news. I mean, last week you tweeted out a threat to spill the beans on the wife of Ted Cruz, Heidi Cruz. You followed it up by tweeting out a picture that insulted her looks. You know, wouldn't it be a good way to start off your Wisconsin campaign by saying that wives should be off limits and that you apologize for mocking her looks?
Well, by the way, I think it's true, actually, Charlie. But, you know, if you remember, Melania my wife was a very, very big, successful model. And she did a cover shoot for GQ magazine. And it was, you know, a little provocative. It was GQ, and she was a model. But what they did is, and Ted Cruz knew totally about it. And he says he didn't know about it. He totally knew about it. And they sent that out to the people of Salt Lake City, or the people of Utah. And it was, you know, with a very nasty statement on it. So he knew totally about that. If he didn't know about that, it would be a whole different thing. But he totally knew about it. It was done by people that he knows very well.
Well, it was not Ted Cruz or his campaign. So is your standard
no, I'm just telling you, he knew.
Okay,
these
but
people
so
did it.
Is this
he
your
totally
standard that if a supporter of another candidate, not the candidate himself, does something despicable, that it's okay for you personally, a candidate for president of the United States, to behave in that same way? I mean, I expect that from a 12-year-old bully on the playground, not somebody who wants the office held by Abraham Lincoln.
I did a retweet, and it was a retweet by somebody else because I have a lot of support, a tremendous amount of very fervent supporters, and they were angry about what they did, in sending out this photograph, which was frankly fine. It was an artistic picture, actually. It was a cover of GQ, which is not a big deal.
Your wife is a beautiful, classy woman. Why can't you say the same about Ted Cruz's wife?
I don't know Ted Cruz's wife. I'm sure she's excellent. I mean, I just don't know her. But, you know, all this was a response to what he did.
Okay.
And it was and by the way, Charlie, it was a very minor response to what he did. It was a picture. I didn't even know it was necessarily a very bad picture of her versus Melania. I mean, frankly, but this was a retweet from one of my supporters. I have so many millions of supporters and millions of people on Twitter. You know, I have between Twitter and Facebook, I guess Instagram, I have 15 million people.
And we hear from them frequently. Now, Mr. Trump, you do like to talk about polls a lot, and the recent polls suggest that you have a disapproval rating of about 70% among women. And in southeastern Wisconsin, you are very much underwater. And a lot of that has to do, let's be honest about this, with conservative women who are repelled by your attitude and your treatment of women. And you know they're going to be hearing this ad a lot here in Wisconsin media. And I want to give you a chance to respond to it.
Dog. Fat pig.
Real quotes from Donald Trump about women.
A person who is very flat-chested is very hard to be a 10.
I'd look her right in that fat, ugly face of hers.
Look at that face. Would anyone vote for that?
She had the height, she had the beauty. She was crazy, but these are minor details.
I like kids. I mean, I won't do anything to take care of them. I'll supply funds and...
Okay, Mr. Trump, I'd like to give you a chance to respond to that. That is, of course, from an anti-Trump super PAC, and that ad is going to be airing here in Wisconsin. How do you respond? Because those are all your real quotes, aren't they?
Women are just going to have to see what I've done. I've hired tremendous numbers of women. Women are in my highest executive positions. I pay women in many cases more than I pay men, which is more than most people can say. I'd like to hear what these people... You know, I've been a person that's been in the entertainment business and a very big person in business, and I've been quoted over the years by everybody from the time I started business. For whatever reason, I became a celebrity in a sense, and talking.
Are the rules different for celebrities? Are celebrities allowed to insult women?
The rules are different, but certainly I never thought I would run for office. And many people, you know, Howard Stern would interview me, and everybody would be having fun, and the women would be laughing.
Yeah. Well, but you're saying the same thing. I mean, you have mocked Megyn Kelly, you have mocked Carly Fiorina, and you are.
I'm not a fan of Megyn Kelly. I mean, I'm allowed to say that. If Megyn Kelly were a man, I would be saying the exact same things about Megyn Kelly, and the same thing with Rosie O'Donnell. I'm not a fan of Rosie Dorothy O'Donnell.
Well, let me ask
George
you.
is a fan of mine, and you know what? You go back and forth. I don't think there should be a double standard if somebody's a woman.